Yo, what is going on, everybody? Shri Kanase here. So $13,814.40 worth of Google Ads lessons. Now, over the past 2 years or so, I've been consistently using Google Ads and getting a large amount of the sales that I get on my store monthly and yearly from Google Ads. And just these past few months, I've been very intensely diving into Google Ads. But over just this past year or so, I've spent roughly $13,814.40 on Google, and I've learned quite some lessons. Now, this number right here is from 2 specific stores which I've run this year. This does not include one of my main niche stores or my student stores which currently run on Google Ads. Because if we count that in, this could go well above $50,000 to $100,000 in spend. But I just wanted to talk about the specific lessons I've learned specifically this year after spending $13,814 on Google Ads and getting a return of about $45,000 from this amount. So I think this $13,000 of spend was a very successful one compared to what I had spent on my main niche store, because in the beginning, like everybody else, I was also a beginner and didn't know what I was doing. So a large portion of that amount that was spent on the niche store was gone into testing, which is why I did not include that number in this total amount. But by the end of this video, you're gonna know the 7 things that I learned after spending this amount and getting over a 3 times return on my ad spend with Google Ads. But without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into it. So the lessons I learned after spending 5 figures and more with Google Ads. The first lesson I would like to talk about is the lesson that you would get if you don't smash that like button. And the lesson is you would not be able to keep up to date with the videos I put out. So make sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. But the real first lesson I would like to talk about is the lesson about conversion rates. So I've noticed quite a bit of a difference when it comes to conversion rates with Facebook ads compared to Google. And I've used both of these platforms intensively. I've spent over 6 figures with Facebook and over 5 figures with Google. But after spending even 5 figures with Google, which is a lower amount than what I spent on Facebook, I came to realize that the conversion rates that I often get with Google are much lower compared to Facebook. And that's just one of the facts of the platform. One of the main reasons as to why I think the conversion rates are lower is simply because it is much easier on Google Ads for customers to compare the prices side by side. Because what does somebody do when they are searching for a product on Google? They simply type in the product name and then they see a bunch of different shopping ads for different products. Maybe it's the same product, maybe it's a different variation of that same product. So what people do is they open up these multiple tabs by clicking on these shopping ads, and then they read through the descriptions of each of the pages and compare the prices of each one. So what happens is, in this situation, these people have a higher chance of not purchasing from you if your pricing is not the lowest, or if you're even missing even a little bit of data in your description. So because of this, the conversion rates are usually much lower on Google Ads. Again, it is true that Amazon will take majority of the sales simply because they always try to outperform in the pricing. So they will often have a lower price than everybody else who is competing with them in the shopping ads. But that does not mean that you will not get any sales. But what is the solution to this? How can you really battle this? So I want to go over a few different things you can do. The first one is that you should try things completely different on your product pages, specifically compared to other dropshipping stores. Now, what do I mean by this exactly? Well, the first different thing that you can definitely try on your product page is to have kind of a custom trust badge. And I have an example of a trust badge I saw on a brand, and this is actually one of my friend's brands. But as you can see, his trust badge, it is not that much different from the normal dropshipping trust badges, but he did something different. And what he did is he put this text right above the trust badge, which says 100% no risk money back guarantee. So as you can see, even though there is a very little variation, and you may be thinking this is the same thing, just because they added text doesn't mean that their conversion rate will go up. And you will be wrong if you say that, because my friend over here has a conversion rate of 5% or more on his website, and it is a niche store. But even on my niche stores, without doing something like this, I have a conversion rate of around 3%. So a portion of his increase in the conversion rate can definitely be because of this text that he added right below the add to cart. One thing you want to understand is people love to feel safe. And if they feel safe on your website, they will be much more likely to purchase. The thing is, the normal trust badges, they just don't make them feel safe anymore. There's just too many issues with the trust badges, and a lot of scamming websites also have these trust badges. So people are kind of losing their trust in the trust badges. purchase. But if you do something different like my friend did over here, he put this text right above the trust badge, that can be enough to just boost your conversion rate. So that is one thing you can do differently when it comes to Google Shopping ads as well. The second thing that you can do differently is have installment payments available as one of the options for payments on your website. Now, this is one of the newer things that I've been personally testing out myself on my website, and I've noticed that this definitely helps people want to purchase from you, especially if you're selling something that is higher ticket. But just having an option for installment payments really puts that authority on your website, makes people feel as if you're some type of authority, and will make people more likely to trust you. Because again, this is something that is not really available in a lot of the dropshipping stores. So if you have this on your website, you immediately stand out of the crowd and make people want to trust you more. So having a custom trust badge and installment payments are the two of the suggestions I would like to give in order to really stand out of the crowd and improve the conversion rate. But let's move on to point number 2, and this is regarding the winning products with Google Ads. Now, with Facebook ads, I've noticed that pricing of the product only matters to the extent that the person is willing to pay for your product. Meaning, if you have high quality images for that product, people may even be willing to pay more. But with Google, that is not the case. Price plays a really important role with determining whether people want to buy from you or not. And what I've noticed after spending that 5 figures with Google Ads is that winning products can last only as long as somebody doesn't start a price war. Now, what do I mean by this exactly? Well, there's this thing called a price war with Google Shopping ads where one competitor sees that somebody else has priced the same exact product for $1 less, so they price it at $2 less. Then the other guy sees that this guy put it at $2 less, so he does it at $4 less. So this starts a price war between competitors, and when that happens, people start killing the profits significantly. And it becomes to the point where the product is not profitable anymore. And this can literally happen overnight. It has happened to me, so I know this for a fact. And once the profits are completely dead, there is no point in selling the product because you would just go at a loss with that product. But don't let that scare you because there are solutions available for this. Let's go over the 2 specific solutions I have. The first one is you should have multiple winning products to avoid this. This is why I always say in my other videos as well that you shouldn't rely on just one product with Google Shopping ads, because number 1, you won't be able to achieve those big numbers with one single product. It will be very hard. And number 2, if somebody starts a price war with that one product, you can say goodbye to that product in a matter of a few days to a matter of a few weeks. And this is just the reality of Google Shopping ads at this moment, because like with Facebook, Google Ads is experiencing a big surge in the amount of people wanting to use the platform. And because of this, people are willing to do anything to literally get a few dollars of profits. But in addition to having multiple winning products, one thing you can do is you can have images that stand out of the crowd. This is why in my SEO optimization video, if you haven't already checked that out, the link should have popped up in the top right. Watch that video after this one. But in that SEO optimization video, I always mention that you should have images that stand out of the crowd and are high quality, because a high quality image that stands out of the crowd will have better chances of getting clicked on. And when somebody clicks on it, they will be more likely to purchase from you. So again, winning products will only last as long as somebody doesn't start a price war. And unfortunately, that is kind of common with Google, but these 2 methods will definitely help you battle that and get you those profits consistently. But that brings me to point number 3, and that is scaling is not as easy with Google ads as it is with Facebook ads. Now with Facebook ads, it is, in my opinion, very easy to scale from $100 days to $1,000 days with some amount of profit. With Google, however, it is a completely different story. The main reason behind this is that oftentimes I've noticed that my single product campaigns, which is also known as a SPC, often flop. Meaning the winning product that I take from my general testing campaign, I make a brand new campaign just running that one product, and for some reason Google decides not to show it to the right audience. I spend over my profit margins and I don't get sales. This is actually very common, and you'll find that out of 5 products, 3 flop. One of the reasons behind this is that there's just not enough search volume or decent search volume for that product, meaning the people that are searching for that product aren't really in the buying intent. Number 2, it may be because the campaign that you just started lost its optimization, so it has to kind of re-optimize, and in the beginning stages it will really spend money until it gets accurate data so that it can start showing the ad to the right people. But you'll notice that because of this, the campaign is overspending with no sales. You're just running through your budget, and it will feel like the winning product is just not a winning product anymore. So what should you do in this case? Because you will one time or another face this with your shopping campaign as well. So the solutions, there are several things that you can try. First one is you can try diversifying with search ads. I've met a person who was struggling with shopping ads, but he had a search ad going and he was doing about $400 to $500 per day with that product just through search ads. So that tells you that search ads really have big potential if you know how to use them correctly. So don't just rely on shopping ads, because once you find a winning product with shopping, you should, number one, create a single product campaign for that to try and see if it does sell that way. And number two, you should diversify to search ads as well. But in addition to that, what you may notice is that your single product campaign, no matter what you do, just doesn't sell. In that case, the second solution is to just leave the winning product inside the general testing campaign and let it get you sales that way. Because literally in that campaign, Google has found the right optimization for that product. It has found the right bid to be winning the auctions at, and it is showing the ads to the right audience. So you really don't want to mess that up and just let it run there. Now, this is another reason why I don't exclude winning products from my general testing campaigns. But in addition to that, number three is just having multiple product winners. Again, it goes back to point number two, where I was talking about how winning products last only as long as somebody doesn't chart a price war. Scaling, it's kind of the same thing. You can try scaling by launching these single product campaigns, search ad campaigns, or you can scale through multiple products. So instead of having one product giving you $100 a day of profit, why not have 10 products giving you $100 a day of profit? So that way you have more winning products and you'll be getting much more profit that way, and you won't be just relying on one single product. I think that is the best way to really scale. But that brings me to point number four, and that is constant changes in your bids and budgets will only restart the campaign optimization. I know a lot of people that come from Facebook ads, they have this mentality of just shutting off ads within ad sets, maybe adding new ads within ad sets every single day or so to just keep the optimization running. But if you try and do that with Google, you will very quickly find that you're running out of your budget, you're not getting any sales. And this will just lead to lower ROAS positive results, maybe even negative results, and lower sales in general. And this is something I always say in a lot of my videos, and that is Google is a time-based platform. It requires that you give it time to optimize and find you the right audience so it can continue to get you sales. If you keep on playing around with the optimization and keep on changing things every single day, that is just going to confuse Google more and more to the point where it's just losing you money constantly without any sales. So you want to prevent from doing that. And what are the solutions to this problem? Well, there are several. The first one is you should make one bid or budget change every 5 days. I've found that between the 3 to 7 day sweet spot that I always recommend, 5 days is the right spot to be waiting before making any decisions as to whether you should increase the bid, decrease it, increase budget, decrease budget. And this may not always be the right number of days to wait, but that just kind of helps with getting the right results with Google Shopping Ads. The second solution that you can try is that you test one bid that works and leave it for a few weeks to a few months. So one thing you will have to do often is play around with things on Google Ads. But once you play around with it for a while, you'll notice that you're starting to get results with a certain number of bid or a certain number of budget. So if you find that you're getting results with 40 cents, but if you raise the bid to 45 cents, you stop getting results, keep the bid at 40 cents and just leave it for weeks and months. Don't change it. What I've noticed is that the more time you let Google optimize for a specific bid, the better and better it gets at finding the right audience for you. But again, it is a time-based platform. It will require that you give it some time to understand who the audience is and go from there. But those are the exact solutions as to what you can do when it comes to actually making those changes. But point number 5, and that is conversion tracking is everything. So this is something kind of basic, but a lot of people don't really pay attention to this and they end up with conversion tracking codes that are not implemented correctly. You need to make sure that every single sale or as many sales as possible are getting tracked with your Google Shopping Ads account so that Google can properly optimize your ads. Because without proper tracking, Google really cannot optimize. And when it comes to optimization, Google optimizes several things. Number 1 is keywords. Number 2 is the audiences that your products are shown to. And number 3 is the timing on when to show your ads. With Facebook, it is the same thing, but with Google, it is really very important because again, Google takes much more time to optimize, and these 3 things literally determine the success of your ads. It's not like Facebook where you can go ahead and choose the audience for Facebook to show your ads to, and if it doesn't work, just shut it off. With Google, every single product is shown to the ads for the keywords that you have inside your product pages. And if you don't know how to do proper product page optimization, I have tons of videos on that. I'll leave some links in the description below as well, but you really need to make sure that your Google conversion tracking is properly optimized. And there are a few solutions to this as well. Number 1 solution is just fix the tracking issues. If you're not sure how to fix the conversion tracking issues, contact Google support. They will help you with it. Number 2, make sure to install Google Analytics, because any sale that is not captured on Google Ads, Google Analytics will capture that specific sale for you. So again, this is just to help with the optimization of the campaigns and so that you're just not spending money unnecessarily. So make sure your conversion tracking is properly in place. But that brings me to point number 6, and that is smart shopping campaigns don't work for every account. There's this big hype around smart shopping campaigns nowadays because a lot of people are finding good success with smart shopping campaigns. And one thing I've realized after using them both on a niche store and a general store is that they don't work for every account. For both of my stores, what I've noticed is that I get positive results for the first few days to the first few weeks, and by positive I mean really good ROAS. But after those first few initial days, the ROAS starts to dip. Maybe the campaign is not spending its full budget every single day. And this becomes a very common occurrence where every single day your budget may be $25, but the smart shopping campaign is spending maybe $4 some days and some days $10 and so forth. And that is because you have given Google Ads a lot of the control over your campaign. It is deciding what bid to set it at. It is deciding which auctions to enter and exit. And because of this, I've found that it is actually not a good thing to test new products with smart shopping campaigns. So instead, what should you be doing and what are the solutions? There are a few solutions that you can try. The first one is use smart shopping campaigns for scaling single products instead of using it for your general testing campaign. And I find that this works best simply because you only have one product inside that smart shopping campaign. Google puts all of its resources into finding the right audience for that one single product instead of testing all these different products, especially if you run a general store inside a smart shopping campaign. It just gets kind of too messy for Google, in my opinion. Number 2 solution is put all products which are getting you impressions, clicks, sales inside of one smart shopping campaign and let the other products run inside your normal general testing campaign. So what will happen is, in this case, the products that you put inside the smart shopping campaign, they will overpower those products inside the normal testing campaign, and the products that are currently in a normal testing campaign will not spend any money. So that means you will have more room to test those newer products which are not getting any impressions, clicks, or sales inside your normal campaign. So these are 2 things that you can really try to kind of see whether you get better results or not with smart shopping campaigns. It will definitely require a little bit of testing, but that brings me to my last point, and that is bidding strategies differ significantly between ad accounts. Now, what do I mean by this exactly? Well, one thing I've noticed is that in a new store that I start with Google Shopping Ads, they often do well with maximized clicks compared to manual CPC. In fact, the store that I just started 2 months ago with Google Ads, which has crossed about $2,500 in sales, I started that store with manual CPC just to test things and see whether that was of any use or not. And unfortunately, manual CPC did not work that well with the general testing campaign. Instead, when I changed it to a maximized clicks campaign, that is the one that really started showing results and started getting me those sales. So what I can conclude from this is that max CPC definitely works better for general stores, and I have the same experience for this back when I was running my other general store in May and June. I even made videos on that one where I was doing $1,000 a day with those stores. But definitely start with maximized clicks, but this is something you definitely want to test because, again, every ad account is different. Maybe for you, manual CPC may work better. So definitely try that out and see for yourself. But another thing I've noticed is that niche stores tend to do much better with enhanced CPC, which is a portion of manual CPC compared to maximize clicks. And maybe this is just because it is in a specific niche. Google has a much easier time going out to your audience and getting a hold of them. So maybe that is why enhanced CPC works. So if you run a niche store, try enhanced CPC if you haven't already. And if you run general stores, try maximize clicks. But these are the 7 things I learned after spending 5 figures with Google Ads. If you found any type of value in this video, smash that like button and smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.